I'm so glad, pleased, grateful, all of that to see you here. And actually, I feel lonely up front. And as we often say in church, if you come on down, that would be wonderful. I'd like to make sure that you are a part of our engaging conversation. You hear, you see, and you're comfortable as we move into a portion of the evening where you can ask questions and move around. I'm so grateful to see you all this evening. And I'm going to bring a few more. I'm going to get my water, and we're going to get started. Again, welcome. And many of you in the audience know that I'm Linda Wood. I'm the superintendent for Southfield Public Schools, and I'm very proud and very happy and very pleased to be able at this point in my life to be able to walk this walk and to be on this journey with you all as well as with our children and our staff. And I have to say that a very important partnership that I have is with our Board of Education, and we do have one of our board members is in the audience, and he has been at the back talking, which is just fine because that's important too. But I am going to ask him to come up front, Mr. Rance Williams, and he happened to be the president last year and was very much engaged in a very special walk with me as we move through so many very hard conversations and decisions that represent our community. So again, Mr. Williams is here, and there will be other board members that will come shortly. I also have to say that I could not do this job if it weren't for some very special people that walk the walk with me. And my life is pretty busy. And I am actually engaging, and people are beginning to get into my mind and think what I'm thinking to help me move along. But I have to thank Ms. Paulette Gardner, who is in the back of the room, who is one of my assistants. And thank you, Paulette. Where's Jackie? Jackie Robinson, who is our marketing person, and I'm just grateful. You know how you can just then turn it over and people can just run with it. I'd like to thank Lauren in the back, who also helps out. She is everywhere helping to promote, take pictures. And Ron Salade, who, if it weren't for Ron, you might not be able to see this special video and all that we have for you this evening. And there's others that I'll be introducing, but I will share Ali Colward, who is going to be in the back of the room shortly, who will be helping if you have questions about where's my child supposed to go to school next year. I also have Sonia, but I'm going to talk more about Sonia shortly. Mr. Harry Patton, who is in the back. And he will be in the back in the future this evening discussing one of our specialized schools. And so there are many, many more. And if there's someone that's sitting and I don't see them because I have to go between glasses on, glasses off. But I thank you so much. And as we move into this evening, I wanted to provide for the community an update. Where are you, Dr. Wood, as it relates to this whole movement with Imagine 2020 and what else is going on in our community and with Southfield Public Schools? And this is an opportunity for me to just share many things and to give you an overview of some of the things that are going on. Tell your friends that if they couldn't make tonight, we're doing a repeat of this next Wednesday, April the 13th, the day after the board meeting, so I'll be making several announcements at the Southfield Lathrop Community Room, because I want to keep spreading the word of what we're doing so we can help clear up and help and give the insight that I know all of you want. Well, we started on this journey really about a year or more ago as we started to have conversation about our district. And we were looking at three things, of of course. We wanted to make sure that our quality of our school district sustained itself. We wanted to make sure that we were providing as much choice as we possibly can for our children and for our families. But we also wanted to make sure that all of that was sustainable. And when I can remember being at home and Imagine 2020 resonated inside of me, because I said, if we can get to Imagine 2020, by that time, I'd like to see the deficit spending eliminated. I'd like to see the achievement accelerated. I'd like to see programming expanded. And I remember engaging in all of that with our board and with a group of citizens. And so what we're going to do this evening is not go into all the details that we went through back in the fall and back in last spring, but to show you where we're going and where we are with some of those major components of Imagine 2020. So tonight, not only are we going to talk about where we are with components of Imagine 2020, but we're going to spend some time giving insight about our new high school that will be unveiled and evolving as of July 1st of this year, and other special programs that you've heard about in the district. I still love this picture. And I think that one of the things that was important, as I shared with you, about a vision, about Imagine 2020, and just making sure that we were doing all of what we could do to accomplish and to move our district forward. One of the things that I remember sharing with the board, and I say it with such sincerity, we have a wonderful city, a wonderful community, and all across this region, I want people to know what special things are going on here. I want Southfield to be a destination for our young families to live, a destination for our school district to be for others. Just to make sure that that is that place where others feel like they want to make it their home and their community. But in addition to that, in order for us to make it the real destination that we want others to feel and to engage and to join us, we want to make sure that we are fiscally sound. And back last year, and we still are, in a period where there is a declining of enrollment. And so we're doing all that we can to attract more children to our district. That means attract more families to our community and to our district. But the reality is that declining enrollment is something that is happening, is still happening around our community of Southfield, across the state, and across this country. I was driving down Inkster Road, and many of you drive down there, and you probably have noticed that there's a big parcel of land that has nothing on it. It belongs to Southfield Public Schools. And that big parcel of land was where years ago there were plans to build a third high school. And so what I'm sharing with you, there were periods and eras in districts all around in Oakland County and other places, even in Detroit, where I grew up and had a wonderful education, where we were building to accommodate the movement of a population. And to the degree that there was an overbuilding, even here in Southfield, that was never constructed. But there were other schools that were constructed. And even before I received or started a journey here in Southfield, those schools were sold or those schools were torn down. And so this whole idea of making sure that we right size and that we be cautious about how we grow and spend money on facilities is a critical piece. The other thing that was very important last year when we talked and when we met and as we engaged in decision making was the changes that were happening at the state level. And I'm going to say it now, and I'll probably say it a couple more times, because on April 23rd, I'm having another coffee and conversation. And the real thrust of that coffee and conversation will be budget and Michigan Department of Education, and many of the issues and legislation that they are still trying to move through that impacts what we do here in our district. But I will say that the legislation that was passed last year was related to early warning, and many of you have heard about that, and I'm not going to go into all the details, but it's still very real. And if we do not have a fund equity that is more than 50% of our general fund, not 50%, I said that wrong, but we have to have a certain amount that has to be there in our general fund so that we are not identified as a district, so to speak, in crisis. And the unfortunate thing is that there have been years where that crisis identification was made and there was not a threshold financially that the district had to make sure that we maintained and established. But the reality is we're in that era now, and there are many school districts that are a part of that. So we have to always be very mindful and very cautious and very careful about that. We also have to be mindful about the increasing cost of everything: gas, water, heating, lighting, snow removal, all of these things that are major. And when our per pupil revenue does not escalate in meaningful amounts, we still are carrying a significant burden, and there hasn't been the resource to help defray some of that, as well as the increased needs of our children and helping to support those needs, changes happening in the county. So those were all the things that were a part of thinking about Imagine 2020 and the patchwork needed to be created for our children. So when we think about all of it, it is about fiscal sustainability, but it's also about creating new programs, expanding new programs within our limited budget. I've kind of talked about right size, because that's critical. You know about that in your own household. Ensuring that we have choice. I want to make sure that there's choice for your children and for you. So living within that, living within our means has been a mantra in our district from our board for, many years, and trying to make sure that we're doing all that we can to do that. But somewhere along the way, you have to kind of conserve and reduce. And sometimes it's called cutting. Sometimes it's called many other things. But a part of who I am, and a part of the board that I've been working with, and cabinet that I work with, is the reality is that, yes, you hear about many districts that are cutting, but that's not what I felt we had to do by itself. It's about renewing. It's about re-engagement, new programming. How can we rethink something and make sure that it is not just about cutting, but it's about reinventing in some ways programming here in our district. So to do all of that, we are doing a lot of shifting around Imagine 2020 to provide the choice and the quality and the sustainability that we want for you, your children, and for the district as a whole. So one of the elements of Imagine 2020 was to create one K-12 university campus. Ooh, that created a little bit of a ruckus. And the reality is that it's something that's a little new for our community. But one of the things that happens across the country are wonderful learning environments where it is a K-12 experience, meaning that children of a spectrum of ages are attending courses and classes and experiences under the same or on the same campus. And one of the things that we knew very clearly is that we could not continue duplicating some of the programming that was very expensive for our district. We also knew that our comprehensive high school, and I'll talk more about that in a moment, really could not continue. We were not providing all we knew we should be providing for both campuses. And the desire to bring everyone together was what was so critical, and that was why we went in that direction. But right here to create one K-12 university campus where we're bringing our application schools together. MacArthur, which is our K-8 application school here in the district, and University High School, which is one of our application examination schools here in the district, and to bring them together on one campus, except for grades kindergarten and first grade. Our little ones will be across the street at the Bussey Center, and I'll talk more about preschool in a moment, but they will be over there in a warm, loving environment for kindergarten or early childhood and primary grades. And when they get into the second grade, they will move over to the big school and they will be at MacArthur. I will share with you that, as I shared before, but I'll restate it again, that the grades 2 through 5 will be in the D house or the D wing, and 6 through 8 will be in C wing. We were talking today about finalizing all of the bids for the playground. I'm looking forward to the principal being able to look out of the windows in her or his and her offices and see the children outside playing, making sure that we have a safe environment inside. We're painting and putting in primary colors, making sure we redo the stairwells, ensuring that we have all the windows properly secured in both C and D wings, bringing in color for the little ones, and putting in a coat room, bringing in new lockers so that there's a feel and a presence. The weight room, the wrestling room will be moved, and that's being transformed into a media center for that school. That we're having a computer lab, a music room. We're having a STEM room. The K-8 children will have lunch in the South Commons. And that's all going to be just fine. We're putting in key fobs. We're constructing a wall separating the hallway going into the gym for our younger children. We're doing things, those kind of tweaks in the buildings to make sure that they are appropriate for the age of the children that are there. And so at this time, when I talk about children, I'm going to move into, and I do have my glasses off, but I do see Zerick Lake in the audience. And Zerick, just raise your hand for everyone who does not know. He is the assistant principal at MacArthur K-8 building, as I introduced Harry earlier. But I just mentioned our youngsters, and I didn't want to do all the talking tonight. Mr. Bird, would you kindly join me at the podium? Here is one of our young adults. But he is one of our student board reps, and he happens to attend the University High School Academy. And instead of me sharing about the University High, I asked Royal to come and share. And the reason I'm spending a moment with University High School is because we are opening up, and if you are a resident of Southfield in the audience, in your March 30th Southfield Sun inside cover page, you probably saw an advertisement announcing another round of testing for the University High School. And the reason we're doing that is I can't tell you the number of calls that I've received at central office, calls that we've received at the U, people questioning, inquiring that they didn't know, they hadn't heard. And so because of this year of transition, we're going to have a third round of testing, and we're opening up additional slots as we can accommodate. And so I wanted Royal to talk about the U.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. So I am Royal Bird. I'm a junior at University High School Academy, and I'm going to talk a little bit about my school. One of the interesting things, one of the great things about university, if you plan on sending your child there or if you're interested, is our new AP Capstone program. So the AP Capstone program is a new program that was introduced by the College Board last year. And the Capstone program consists of 2 courses, AP Seminar and AP Research. So the 2 courses, we'll be able to talk about it more like if you visit our table in the back, but briefly, the 2 courses focus on team building and presentations, along with individual research and things of that nature. So we do a whole lot of presentations where we have to research a topic for a particular month or a particular amount of time, and then we're able to then present that information, be it in team or individually. And then next year, our school will also have the AP Research course, but it is, before I go on, you do have to take AP Seminar before you take AP Research. But next year we'll have the AP Research course, which is somewhat of a mini dissertation. So like a PhD candidate type of thing, but in high school. So we're really looking forward to that too. And I'm in AP Seminar, and I'll be in AP Research next year. So that should be pretty interesting. So the cool thing about the capstone program, so if you earn a 3 or higher in AP Seminar, AP Research, and 4 other AP exams, you will then receive the AP capstone, which will be given to you as an incentive for all of your hard work over the course of those 2 years. So that's one of the things we have at the U, if that interests you or your adolescent. So moving on to our proven results. So the class of 2014, we had a final ACT composite score of 22.7, which is very high for an entire class of over 100 kids. That's a very high composite score for the entire class. 98% of our students are gifted and talented, and what that means is 98% of our students are enrolled in AP courses by their 10th grade year, and they're on track for more AP courses after that. 100% of our graduates are enrolled in 2 or 4-year colleges and universities, and we are proud to say that we still have a 100% graduation rate. Also, another interesting fact is the students who attended the U in 2014 and also 2015, those who attended the University of Michigan Ann Arbor, all received full tuition scholarships. And Dr. Delphine Bird of U of M has said that we are the top feeder school in Oakland County for the University of Michigan Ann Arbor. So the UHSA U Prep Advantage. So we offer a very personalized learning environment. We'll be able to talk about that more in the back. But our learning environment is very personal. We know our teachers, they know us. We're able to go to them whenever we need them. It's a family environment. We know the students. And it's not a huge school. So if you're interested in a smaller school where you'll be able to know all of the staff, and the students know the students, we know the staff, and we're also familiar with administration as well. It's a really cool environment for that. We have a college readiness series that is introduced, I believe, in 8th grade. Mr. Pat can correct me. He says yes, 8th grade. That is introduced to our students, and they're able to stick with that all the way up into 12th grade. So just to prepare them for college through test prep and through career readiness and things of that nature, through field trips and vocational things of that nature, they're able to prepare themselves. So that was also really cool. We have tutorial time built into the school day, which is every day, and it's known as seminar. We call it seminar at university. So it's a time where, since university has such a rigorous curriculum and it's such a rigorous and advanced school, we have seminar, which is a time for students to do homework, to study, to bond with one another, to talk to teachers about particular curriculum that they're learning in school. So it really serves as an advantage when you go to a school like university where the curriculum is so advanced and rigorous, because we're able to have that time every day where we're able to go to our teachers if we're struggling in a particular area, or just study and get some homework done before we actually go home. So we have partnered with Khan Academy for our SAT preparation, and as you know, we do take the SAT next week, so wish us luck. So we do take the SAT next week, next Tuesday, and we partnered with Khan Academy, and that's also been a series that was introduced this past summer after they made the switch from ACT to SAT. So our administration and our staff jumped on that quickly, and we've been doing a lot of things as far as SAT prep in class, and also Khan Academy is for us to do our SAT prep outside of the classroom. And it's all hooked up through College Board, and it's a really cool tool, and it gives us a very great advantage as far as preparing for the SAT. And I believe we are a Khan Academy example school, Mr. Patton? He says I'm right again, so I'm wondering why. Thank you. So, well, that's on my PowerPoint, guys. So that's about it. So if you want to come visit us in the back after the rest of this presentation, please feel free. We are very interested to hear from you, and we are very eager to answer your questions. Thank you so much.
As always, I could go to any school in Southfield Public Schools and I would have just as articulate, just as wonderful students, and I'm so proud of that. And so he's talked a little bit about the U, and you'll learn more about that in the back. And again, I put the little emphasis because we're opening up another round of applications. But you know, the next piece of Imagine 2020 is creating one united, comprehensive high school. And as you look at those pictures, they bring great pleasure again to me to be able to say that we're going to have one high school where all of our students who choose to go to our comprehensive high school will have the full slate. They can be a part of the engineering academy. They can be a part of the medical academy. They can also be a part of the dance, the music, the marching band, all of these things that a comprehensive high school is designed to offer. It is not like a smaller school. It is designed. I'm a graduate of a comprehensive, Cass Tech, and when I was there were 4,000 kids, and I went up and down those stairs, got in those old elevators, went to the gym, got all the way back down, and got to class on time. And many of you in the audience know that it is a wonderful environment, but the key to all schools is creating those learning communities. And when I was at Cass, I had a tremendous learning academy. And so when Mr. Burr talks about knowing his teachers and knowing the people in his school, that's how I felt at Cass with 4,000 children, because I knew my teachers who were a part of my academy, a part of that circle that surrounded me, the friends that I built in that academy. We had like interests. Whether it was chem bio, whether it was business, whether it was music, whether it was science and arts, whether it was home ec. These were the communities that surrounded, and I am so grateful for that type of an experience. And that is the experience that we're creating for our new comprehensive high school. And I'm going to, before I go any further, I have another announcement. Many of you already know. But where is Miss Jackson? Okay, would you come on up? Miss Jackson has gone through a round of interviews and vetting, and we announced in December that she would be the new principal of our new comprehensive high school. And one of the things that over the years that I have known Mrs. Jackson, she doesn't take any stuff, but she loves the kids. And that's key, that you create structure, you create understanding of expectations, but every child knows that this lady cares about them and that they're willing to engage in a conversation. So I'm gonna let Ms. Jackson share a few words with you, and then we'll move on.
Thank you, Dr. Wood.
And before I can say this, that's the name of our new high school.
Thank you. Unlike Mr. Bird, I had to write some things down because I can get very long-winded, so I want to stay on task, especially when I'm talking about Southfield High School for the Arts and Technology. I'm very passionate and very excited about next year. I am humbled, honored, and excited to serve as principal of this new beginning at Southfield High School for the Arts and Technology. I'm deeply committed to making a positive difference in our students' lives, in our children's lives. As you know, it takes a village to help all children reach their potential. I'm making a commitment to you tonight to work together with all stakeholders to provide an academic and social program where all students will be successful. I will accomplish this by building strong student, staff, and community relationships, engaging parents and the community, addressing critical issues, creating a network of community resources that will assist in leading Southfield A&T to an apex of excellence, creating a school culture of high standards for teacher performance, setting high academic expectations for all students and providing supportive systems that assure they are met. In doing this, I can assure you that all students of Southfield A&T will achieve their highest potential in the classroom and beyond. It is my personal professional pledge to model, inspire, challenge, support, and encourage every stakeholder in our school family to remain focused on student success. This success is inclusive of academic achievement, character development. It also is guided by the principle that we will rise to high expectations. Southfield A&T has remarkable potential to develop lifelong learners and produce forward thinkers who can make impressive contributions to our society. The goal of the new high school is to graduate all students college and/or career ready. Therefore, the purpose is clear: to ensure that all students will graduate with competitive 21st century skills and abilities. The strategy is simple. Every day we will aim high. Armed with passion and purpose, I am challenged yet motivated to lead the school-based community and engage all stakeholders in the realization of the district's goal for our students as we strategically and urgently focus on continuous school improvement. In closing, I challenge you, the community, to join me in pushing, supporting, and assisting with providing the resources to help our students reach their full academic and social potential. My vision for Southfield High School, the arts and technology, will be a national model of educational excellence. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson, and thank you all. We have so much to share with you about the unfolding of this new high school. And I will share that I have been, my arms have been strapped to some degree. You know, I like to give information, but I can only share with you the insignia at the moment of the new high school. You have to wait until the board meeting on the 12th, where we're going to unveil the mascot design, the logo, all of the caricatures, what the helmets will look like. And so I look forward to that unveiling on Tuesday evening. But we are moving forward, and I'm very proud to share, he's not here tonight, but he will be here on Tuesday, that it is a Southfield graduate who helped in the design of all of the insignias, mascots for our new high school. So we're very pleased with that. I also would like to share that this whole bonding, bridge building is serious work. And one of the things that I wanted to share with the community, because you can't be with me at every moment where I experience, and I get chills, because I hear kids saying how excited they are, or I hear parents saying it's a good thing, or I know that we have teachers, and I will share that I'm engaged in a lot of personal conversations with teachers about their teaching and about what they believe and how they feel this new high school will unfold. And I'm so encouraged. And I say that the adults are moving with our children in the right direction. So we have a short video to share with you. And Jackie, I want to thank you again for putting this together. And Ron, who is the master to move me from a PowerPoint to a video, but he's going to do that right now.
Two high schools will be a great opportunity just to have the other high school students experience what we have at Lathrop, and like the people at Lathrop experience what's here at Southfield High School. Like we have the medical academy and the arts, and they have technology, and this is just a good way for everyone to get to experience both things.
I think the merger is a great idea because it brings two diverse cultures that's been around for a long time and bringing them together so we all can work together equally.
I think the merge can really show what we can do together. It's not just two schools in Southfield playing football, but it's one team. And we show what everybody will get for this season.
We have now started to move on from it being that friendly rivalry between Southfield High and Southfield Lecture to that we're going to be one school, one team. So we think it's important that the kids start to meet each other, start to work out with each other, attend different camps together. So I think as the process continues and those coaches are named for next year, I think you'll continue to see that grow.
I teach 11th grade, and so I have students in my classroom. Many of them were a part of the ambassador committee in terms of coming up with the name of the school and the mascot and the colors. And they were really excited about the opportunity to be a part of the decision making, and for them to be the first group of seniors to actually graduate from a brand new school is exciting for them in a lot of ways. They want to be groundbreakers, and to say that they were the first group to graduate from the school.
The meeting with the students is really just the students from Southfield High School and Southfield Lakefield coming together, getting to know one another, and also getting to know me as the new principal of the new high school. The perception that they have about coming together as one and how they're going to deal with change. And also things that they have to let go from the old coming into the new. And it was very eye-opening for me, and I think the students actually had a different perspective after the meeting that we had.
So far, we've brought together our girls volleyball team and our boys football teams for both schools. Right now, the football team is immersed in what we call March Madness, which is a way for both teams to earn points towards prizes usually. This year, of course, with the merging of the schools, the biggest prize is the opportunity to select their numbers. We understood that, just like there's a number 2 at Southfield High School, there's a number 2 at Southfield Lakefield. So to be fair, the students with the most points will earn the right to select their number first.
We got both teams to come up here on the night of the state selection show. We had a hot dog dinner. Their parent group provided this food. Our parent group provided another type of food. And the teams got together, we ate, prayed, and then we watched the selection show, and it was just like a really nice event.
At Southfield, we have joint practices between Southfield and Lakefield. Today we're going to Lakefield for practice in the weight room. We're working on bringing the schools together through sports. You can see that the sports team will come together, and everyone else.
The cheer team got to do a unity cheer for the Lakefield game, so that was real cool. We got to practice together for like a month or so. It was real nice going there and then coming here. We got to bond.
At our last basketball game that the Southfield Lakefield girls basketball team and Southfield High School girls basketball teams played against, the combined football team was present, and they were there in their Warriors t-shirts, and we thought, the kids would automatically sit on the opposite sides of the gym, which they did for a portion of the game, but then you kind of saw this coming together, and actually what it was is they sat on one side of the gym for a portion of the game together as a unified group, and then sat on the other side for the remainder of the game, again as a unified group. So that was just a really, positive message.
I'm looking forward to the board having the meet and greet for the students, so that the kids, or they talk about like a retreat, so the students can come together and talk with one another, get to know each other, so that they can have a better understanding of each other. It's been separate, but now we can come together and be united. So I thought the idea of the retreat was awesome, and the kids and the parents are looking forward to that. I understand the hesitancy. Change is unknown, but it's time to get on board. July 1st will be one school. We want what's best for the kids, and so we as adults have to set an example for our kids. So we need to do what we can to support them and they continue to grow.
49 years now, our great city has been divided in the sense that we've had 2 schools to root for, but now we get to make our own legacy, and now our whole community can rally around one school.
I have to say that when I first saw our football players wearing the Warrior t-shirt, it brought tears for me. I think many of you in the audience probably have experienced things in your life where you have put forth all you have to move things forward, and it is not for your personal gain. It is to make decisions, to move things forward that is in the best interest of children and of others who are depending upon you and depending on us to really do what's right. When I first came here to the district, Southfield High School itself had close to 1,700 children. Southfield Lathrop had close to that amount or a little bit more. When both schools declined to numbers around 900, it just gives such a message. And so I just wanted to just again share that these are hard matriculations. But we're doing all of this for our kids. And there was one of the seniors that came up to me and he said, "Oh, I'm so excited. I just wish I could stay here another 2 years because I want to be a part of this whole new high school and the unfoldment of that." So I do know that in the midst of some challenges, in the midst of the unknown, in the midst of change, in the midst of what we as adults call moving one's cheese, it becomes a little uncomfortable. But I have been one, and I share with most of our staff, and I have shared with in my journey through education, I've had to step out on faith, and I say it like that because honestly, I've been pink slipped 5 times, and every time I went to a better situation. And I'm just grateful for all of that. So for our staff in the audience, I know that there are moments where you are not sure. You have to rely on that internal strength to know that what is being done for the best interest of our district, of our children, and I am very faithful that as the next few weeks and months unfold, that your positioning will be solidified and we'll keep moving forward. But this is a tremendous effort. And so as we move on from our new high school, there's some things that I also want to add about it or to share. And one of the things that has been a part of the articulation from the beginning is that we wanted, particularly for our 9th graders, to have a very small environment, to have wraparound services. And when I say wraparound, helping them move through their adolescence. That is the age when more is needed for them. And so the space, and I've shared it before, but I'm just resharing it, where University High School currently is housed will be our 9th grade academy space. They will have their own gym. They will have their own lunchroom. There will be the main office for them. They'll have their own counseling area, their own wraparound support, extra counseling and social work support as they are trying to learn who they are. And as adolescents, we have to spend more time. And as parents, we have to spend more time because they are in a period where it's very comfortable for them to try on something else. What does it feel like to do this? What does it feel like to hide from my parents in something that I know they don't want me to do, but what does it feel like? So we have to really monitor and also give them opportunities simultaneously and love them a lot. So the 9th grade will be a very important group. Our 9th and 10th graders will be housed in a special area. 10th grade will be housed near the main office where Mrs. Jackson's office will be, in A wing of, or A house, so to speak, at the new high school, because they too need wraparound. All of our children in the 9th and 10th grade will have cohorts, meaning that there will be a math, science, social studies, English teacher that will be assigned to a group of children. And that group of children will be reporting, and that group of teachers will be building a bond. You heard Mr. Bird talk about seminar. And one of the requirements for the new school, I said we have to have seminar put back into the schedule. We don't have time in our high school settings right now for kids to have these small group conversations, for them to meet with their counselor or a small group during the school day. We need that time. The other thing that's critical is we need time in our courses. So we are also rebuilding back into the day block scheduling for some of our certain days for our kids, so that there will be an opportunity. If you're in a science lab, you don't have to get up after 50 minutes. I taught science, and I know that getting into certain labs require more time, and you often want to make sure that you engage in the prep, the lab, and the debriefing, so that the learning is very meaningful. The questioning, their questioning, can be very much engaged. We've moved into, for 9th and 10th grade, College Board Springboard programming, mathematics, where they are doing activities in mathematics, where they are writing out their thoughts. They're also doing algorithms, but you need time. One of the things that when Dr. Cook Robinson and I also went to U of M to meet with some of our former students at that time, and one of the concerns that they brought back for us is that when they got to the university, one of the challenges is they might be good at doing the manipulation of the problem, but explaining why. Why? Asking questions about, why did you do it like that? What was your thinking? What was your logic? And that kind of teaching, you can't do it in a straight row. And you can't do it with the teacher at the front doing all the talking. And so it requires that we have time for teachers to engage in deep questioning, and for children to engage in questioning with each other, and to engage in that type of inquiry type learning. And so the 9th grade academy, the 10th graders will be engaged in that kind of a learning environment. The other thing that I'm going to add, and then I will come back to International Baccalaureate, is that we also will have our kids a part of all these academies. And when they get into the 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, they will then start to make very important decisions to move into directions where their own inner spirit is leading them, whether it be robotics, whether it be the engineering, or maybe you might say that I'm going to go and pursue music because we're putting money into the piano studio. We're putting money into the TV studio, and that construction is taking place right now. Our support services, our marching band, and our choirs, I had kids come up to me and say, wow, we have more classes to choose from. Yes, when we have more children, we can have extra performing groups, we can have theater, and we can perform and ensure that we have staff that can accommodate those specialized courses. The other thing that is important about our new comprehensive high school is that we have already moved forward with the whole one slice of the early college programming. Oakland Schools has created an opportunity for students who are in career and technical education to be able to pursue their associate's degree and not have parents pay a dime. So we're already a part of that. That will be available at our new comprehensive high school as we move forward. We also will have a full marching band. I have shared that all students from both of our current high schools and from University High School will come together. What I didn't put up here is a picture of the uniform. It is striking, and we're very proud of what we have moved forward. The board has approved, and so we're excited. The band, the athletic uniforms are in the process of being bidded at this moment, with Warrior across the front. I'm just very pleased, and I know our children will be pleased. But the one thing that I just wanted to make a very clear statement about is that our International Baccalaureate is not leaving. We will have this at our new comprehensive high school. And I wanted to make sure that was very clear. And I'd like to invite Denisha Graham up to the podium. Up to the podium, because we'd like to provide a little better sense of what this International Baccalaureate curriculum and program is about. It's different from AP, and I think if you have a child a part of IB, you know that. AP is courses that you take, and you can get college credit for that. But IB is not just a course, it's a program and a curriculum. And it requires a global perspective, which we have in our district, a K-12, and I would like Tanisha to add more to that.
Thank you, Dr. Wish. She really stole my thunder.
I'm sorry.
Pretty much took everything I was going to say. No, I have a couple bullet points, but she's right. And you were talking about the learning community. One thing about our IB students who are in the diploma program is they follow one another in a cohort, in a learning community. I have a couple IB parents in here that I see, and those students stay together for the 2 years that they are in the program, which is the 11th and the 12th grade, and they're followed by me and also by their teachers to make sure that they are successful. So I kind of act as a quasi-counselor, but I also work with the counselors to make sure that their scheduling takes place as it should and that they are on the right track. So we're always in conference with one another, the teachers, the counselor, the advisor, or the coordinator, which is what I am. But yes, it is a program that it's much more global. It's different from AP, but some of the things with the AP capstone, you'll see some similarities because our students also have to write a mini dissertation. It's called the extended essay. And they're also, as diploma students, taking 6 courses that are prescribed by the IB. Our teachers are trained by the IB, and their work is moderated by the IB. As a matter of fact, I'm right in the middle of sending things to the IB to be moderated so that they can see that we're on track with the way we're grading and our curriculum as it is prescribed by them. Some of the other things, other than the students following one another and being in the core, it's an academically challenging program, much like AP, but it encourages in-depth thinking. As Dr. Wood talked about, in-depth learning, interconnectedness. Their classes are not separated, much like AP, where the classes are more content-driven. Theirs are more global and content, more interrelated, interconnected, and across the curriculum. It is a globally accepted program as well. Students can, they're globally competitive, and our aim is to create globally competitive students who basically will go to the university ready to compete. We've had students come back basically to give us hugs and tell us that they were so well prepared after being in the program. Even if they did not earn the diploma after leaving, they were so well prepared that first year that they were helping out students who had already been there. And so we've had students go on to be, they were able to get college credit, and I have a student who just recently at U of M, she entered the nursing program at U of M, and she entered early, as a matter of fact, because of her IB credit that she earned on the exams. I have bullet points, I really didn't. And I have a video, I don't know if you're going to show the video, okay. All right. So, and I mentioned college credit, and that's the wonderful thing. Much like AP, students will take exams at the culmination of the program, but, and I should say, they can also earn college credit, but they're also competing for an IB diploma. So students who are diploma programs candidates will take 6 courses. They will write the extended essay that you'll hear about in the video. They will take a class called Theory of Knowledge, which gets more into that deeper thinking that Dr. Wood was talking about, the ways of knowing why you think the way you think, why you're learning what you're learning, and the TOK class helps them bring everything together that they're learning in their other courses. And so after they take those courses, they're also involved in internal assessments during the course of the senior year. And finally, in May of their senior year, they're going to take their IB exams. Those exams can transfer into college credit or waive classes. We've had students come back asking for their transcript because they didn't realize it until they got to that university. Oh my goodness, I can skip a couple classes because I got a 3 or a 4 on my IB exam. Some universities take the 3 and will allow students to waive, and the actual total points earned is up to 7. Ironically, on the video that you all showed, Michelle Marshall, she's one of our IB English teachers as well as a coach. Every year, she has the highest number of 4s, which is a college credit, basically, or a few college credits, and from her English class. So every year, consistently, her students leave out with high scores. And Destiny Hatton, I have to brag, she's one of my little 10th graders who's going into IB as a junior next year. So it's good to see her. So we're going to show the video, which actually is about 5 minutes, and it just gives you a little bit more information about the program. I'll be in the back. It's too big and too wide to really talk about in 5 minutes, but I can answer any questions that you might have, and the video will shed a little bit of light. It's from the actual IB program.
The International Baccalaureate aims to my studies, my education. I personally think this is a program that's going to prepare me best for university and eventually a successful future.
Learning about things that will make you a more rounded person. I guess breadth of learning, so learning math, science, the humanities, maybe the arts.
Otro tipo de exigencia, la verdad. Porque, por ejemplo, en las pruebas uno estaba acostumbrado a que te preguntaran lo mismo que te habían enseñado. Y en esto te pasan las herramientas, básicamente, pero después tú en las pruebas tienes que aprender a cómo usarlas.
It pushes a holistic vision of education, one that emphasizes the student as an interpreter rather than as a recipient.
And what it allows us to do as professionals working in this area is actually help our students to become international citizens really through an academic program.
Most enjoyable part of the International Baccalaureate for me, I think it's just the challenge.
Una oportunidad como abrir fronteras, por así decirlo, y es más que un reto y como experiencias distintas a las que comúnmente se vive acá en el colegio.
I think it's important for the program to have so many different elements, like the theory of knowledge, the creative action and service, and the extended essays, because it actually really helps the students at the university level. By being creative in different formats, they can learn different skills for different subjects.
Yes, I'm actually really excited about the extended essay with Duane on Shakespeare.
You choose any subject you want. It can be in any of the International Baccalaureate subjects.
Extended essay promotes a very high level of research, promotes intellectual discovery and creativity, and gives a person an opportunity to write on a topic that he wants or is interested in.
This extended essay is a mini thesis. It's a doctorate, but at the level of these children.
Theory of knowledge is, of course, based around the question, how do we know?
It's designed to make you a critical thinker, so you don't just accept facts or things necessarily the way they're presented to you. Think about it more.
Es muy distinta y es una de las pocas materias que en otros colegios no se imparten. Es una de las cosas como especiales que tiene el diploma.
The IB, more than any course I've ever come into contact with, demands personal responses, requires students to unpackage things. That for me is what theory of knowledge is at the center. It's a constant questioning of the syllabus all around in all subject areas.
For me, Considered Action Service is a program which is meant to prepare you more for university, not just studying and being quite selfish in yourself.
And so you're not only focusing on your grades, you're also focusing on your creativity. Like there are some activities such as photography. You're also working on your actually sportsmanship, teamwork, and service. I think is one of the most important things.
It made me grow up in ways I couldn't imagine. From helping the disabled riding ponies, or from coming to school and playing soccer every Saturday, it really has made me a better person.
I think the service helps you
get in touch with the society, get in touch with those who need it, those who aren't as privileged as us.
Y que a pesar de ser un elemento obligatorio, me ha abierto muchas puertas a entender lo que es la entrega social.
Involves you giving to the community and not, doing it for your own benefit.
Y es parte fundamental del diploma, luego que te incentiva a crecer como persona íntegra. I mean, this is what school's about. It's about learning to be with different people from different cultures. And I think the IB really shows you that this is what you should be doing as a child. It's taught me to be disciplined, but it's also taught me about myself and how I can accomplish everything that I think I would like to do.
I enjoy it because it's rigorous and I know I'm getting a good education, but at the same time it allows, especially the creativity, action, and service program, allows for you to have a learning outside the classroom. It really encourages you to become a rounded person.
You get all this work, you get all these challenges, and then it sort of ends up being fun just working your way through it.
Many universities are realizing the value of IB and IB students. They find them well-rounded. They find scope, they find depth, they find skills, they find leadership, they find confident students. So they like these students to come and join them.
I feel very lucky to be in this program, and that at the end of these 2 years, I want to have something that's going to open so many doors, and I want to have a lot of opportunities.
The world is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. We expect our students to travel everywhere in the world, when they actually start working professionally. And I think that the IB is preparing them for the future they're going to have.
So, thank you, Denisha, and thank you for all of you who have been a part of the IB program and for spreading the word that it is still a part of Southfield Public Schools. I'm going to move forward in 3 more areas because my plan was to be speaking only for an hour and to give you time to engage in conversation. But there is one important piece that I wanted to additionally share about the high school, and that is the one-to-one computers that will be provided to all of our 9th graders this next year. And so what that means is that the district is going to provide a Chromebook, and it will allow children to take those books home and to engage in that kind of learning. Each year, as a 9th grader, we will add that for the high school level to create this one-to-one at the high school level. And the other thing up here that we haven't mentioned, and I'm just going to say it, is dual enrollment. Again, another opportunity to engage in additional college credit advancement while in high school. Ms. Hill, would you kindly come up front? There's 2 more things I want to share, and one is early childhood. One of the things about Imagine 2020 that we've been really pushing is early childhood. And we know that we have many children in our community that do not start out at Bussey. And we wish to expand the opportunity for early childhood and preschool in our district. And so Mrs. Janice Hill is our Bussey Center Early Childhood Director. And would you share a little bit about what we have at Bussey, what we're going to be moving to the new MacArthur facility, and what we will expand as the governor allows?
Good evening. So currently at the Bussey location, we have 2 early childhood programs, one being Head Start and one being Great Start. And so I want to kind of give you the difference between both of them. Both of them are free comprehensive programming for children that are preschool age 3 to 5. However, Head Start is federally funded. And so there is a different income threshold. A family of 4 can make up to $22,000 a year and qualify for Head Start. However, the Great Start program, which is for 4-year-olds only, is state funded. And that, a family of 4 can make up to $76,000. So you see the vast difference. However, the only thing is with Head Start, we can accept 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, and 5-year-olds. Great Start will only take 4-year-olds as long as they are 4. This year, one of the things that they've been battling with, and they finally got legislation passed, that children will be able to be 4 as long as it's by December the 1st. But for the year 2017 and 18, they will have to be 4 by September the 1st. We are moving to the to the MacArthur School because we need to expand our early childhood services. There is an opportunity where we have put in a grant with the Office of Head Start to provide comprehensive services for pregnant women through 2 years old, because there is no programming in Southfield or Lathrop Village that provides comprehensive services for our pregnant women and for children that are 1 and 2 years old. So we are looking forward to the Office of Head Start accepting our grant submission and allocating dollars so that we can service those children and families as well. But when we move to MacArthur, we are going to still allow and keep 2 GSRP programs or 2 classrooms at the Bussey location now that will be MacArthur. So I think that's a good thing because we'll have programming, early childhood programming on this side, which is considered the north side, and we'll have early childhood programming, which is considered the south side. So I forget my north and south. I'm not good with north, south, east, and west. I just know right and left. But I'm really excited because the superintendent sees the importance of the vision in engaging children at an early age. At Bussey, we have comprehensive services, so we not only work with your child, we work with the entire family. And most of you know, or if you haven't heard, you'll know now that college begins at Bussey. We have certain goals that we have to achieve. We have school readiness goals that closely align with the goals for the district, but not only that, they align with the state standards in the Common Core. So a lot of times when it looks as if we're just playing, we are actually learning through play. Your children are engaging, they're learning pre-math skills, pre-science skills, and all of these skills are going to help as they matriculate into kindergarten and go on to graduate into 12th grade. Thank you.
We could spend a whole afternoon talking about the wonders of early childhood, and she will be at the back, and we are going to expand. It is critical that we put and start early so that our children matriculate and will be ready for the accountability and for their future life. One quick thing I want to share, we have not forgotten our vocational programming. We have engaged in conversation with some of the opportunities that exist in our community that will allow children to learn electrical, plumbing, and to be in programs that will get them ready for an apprenticeship. And so we have space in our high school that we all know is identified and is perfect for that. So we're still working, and I will say the mayor of our city is very involved in that process also. The other thing that I want to share is that Southfield is surrounded by companies from many different countries and that are working and expanding their footprint in our community because it is a great location. And one of the things that many of you probably don't know is that right now we have over 35 different cultures, languages that are spoken in this community. And I received a communication over the weekend from someone from Singapore that's moving to this area that wants to also be a part of the public school district. And with that, I want to embrace. And so as we embrace all cultures, all nationalities in this community, in this school district, I think it's a wonderful thing. So a part of Imagine 2020 was also to embrace diversity and to make sure that we're embracing the needs of all of our children, our special needs children, bringing them home and engaging them in rich learning and opportunities. I'm going to end at this moment by saying we got a lot of special programs, but because there's a special meeting coming up next week, I wanted to announce that the Wolverine Pathways is back again wishing to invite Southfield Public School students in getting ready to apply for the Pathway program. The meeting, and I think there was a flyer at the back, will be next Thursday, and it will be at Southfield High School. but this is an opportunity for our current 6th graders and our current 9th graders to apply to be a part of this program. And there is an opportunity for a total of 70 6th grade, 70 9th graders to be a part of the next cohort of the Pathway program. And the end result, if they do their work and stay on point, is a full academic scholarship, and they are making a commitment. And they have expressed to me how proud they are of the children from Southfield Public Schools that are currently a part of the first cohort. So I invite all parents with children that age, spread the word. So with that said, I know I haven't answered all your questions, ROTC. I will say that's coming too. But I would like to share that we have talked enough, but I'd like to invite anyone who has some additional questions for me about Imagine 2020 to come and join me up front. But in the back, there is a table and someone available from University High School. Pupil enrollment is in the back, as well as our budget and finance director is back there, and she may be coming up with me. But the reality is I want you to ask additional questions if you like. But I have done enough talking for this evening. And I just want to again thank you so much for your time. There's more I could share. I'm going to put this on the, so that you at least see a little bit of a timeline for the future. I'm just going to leave it there. You can peruse it. But thank you again so much for being here. I thank you, and I look forward to engaging in the next update with you in the future. And come and see me on April 23rd for our Saturday coffee and conversation too. Take care.